Slowly but surely, Michael Arthate's second day within the Blackwood Manor is coming to an end. Within the safety of his room, he is desperately trying to figure out what exactly could have happened to the Blackwoods roughly 15 years ago. Despite not being willing to accept that some kind of curse could have befallen the manor, he is convinced that there is still more to the case than meets the eye. Did the strange ritual mask of the Dalmar play a role in James's suffering? Or was yet another clue of vital importance simply overlooked? What is it that I am not seeing? What happened to James and Catherine so long ago? Why can I not figure it out? Just why? The facts, they are all right here in front of me. Catherine one day simply disappeared. And then, by complete accident, the maid spotted James burying something within the garden. Something that had the shape of a body. It could only have been Catherine, right? Nobody else. After all, nobody else lived here within the Blackwood Manor. We have James, who simply disappeared one day. Catherine, who was presumably murdered. The newspaper didn't mention her body having been found. Then there was the son, who died shortly after, or maybe even before, embracing the sunlight of our world. Christopher Milton, who took over the manor and then also disappeared. And last but not least, the maid. I still know little to nothing about this maid, only that she loved photography and was the one spotting James burying something in the garden. She reported it to the authorities and then, probably just left the manor, wanting to leave all of this behind herself. But why was the body of Catherine never found? Did James not allow the authorities to step onto his plot of land? That would make sense, but it would also not answer my question. For some time, I had the assumption that maybe Christopher was the one who murdered Catherine, but that would make even less sense. He didn't have a motive and helped James until the very end. Despite not believing in his crazy talk, he attempted to minimize the accusations, even though it was not enough. No, it wouldn't make sense. Maybe James couldn't handle the rumors, the wrongful accusations. He couldn't handle it, and that drove him into suicide. It would explain his vanishing from the face of the planet, but still leave so many questions. Then again, what about if he did kill his wife? What could have been his motive? All he kept talking about was that mask. But I am not willing to accept its otherworldly nature, just like Christopher. I am not willing to. You see, one and all, there is something in this world we call fictional matter. What exactly is fictional matter? Simple. Things that do not exist, but bring pleasure and joy to the mind by telling stories about things that could be, but are not. For example, dragons, tales of fantasy, monsters, curses, etc., etc. But these are all things that I would bring down to a freaking sheet of paper with my typewriter. They do not exist. Yes, I had that pretty strange dream, and it led to me finding the secret door within the gallery, but there's also something known as a coincidence, and this must have been one. I am not willing to accept any other explanation to it. So what if both the diaries and journals of James and Christopher talked about disturbing events, doesn't matter. So what if the mask was barricaded inside that secret room? It does not matter. These things only play an important role in fictional matter, and I am a human being who lives in the real world. And what does the real world look like? A never-ending storm, a dead car battery, no electricity or food or anything. And of course, a mansion that does not want to let me go. It must also be getting pretty late, which means that the second night is arriving. Should I be worried? If only I could find out what happened inside this mansion so long ago. I mean, who else is gonna do it if I am not there anymore? The authorities? Oh please. We are in the late 70s. Can you imagine how such a call would go? Oh yes, of course, Mr. Arthate. I've never heard of you before. You are an author. Well, that's special. Oh, you think the case from so long ago with Mr. James T. Blackwood should be reopened? You think that he didn't really kill his wife? Of course, that sounds really convincing. We'll be over at your mansion right away. It's true, but listen to myself. I'm investing way too much of my soul, spirit, and strength in this freaking case. I came to this mansion to write a novel. It's right here, my trusty typewriter, sheets of paper, and yet I didn't put down a single word to paper yet. This mansion is consuming all of my attention. But seriously, who would have thought that I would stumble upon such a horrific case of tragedies in such a short amount of time? Of course you'd get interested. Your adventuring senses rocket sky high, and you think, this is something special. I can change something about all of this. I can change the world. And in the end, nobody believes you. Seriously, who would dig all of this up again and think it's worth something? You know, as much as it sounds ridiculous, I have to tell somebody about this. I mean, am I the only one to believe that things are going a little bit adrift here in Blackwood Manor? That the situation is not as normal as it should be? I am denying that there is something supernatural going on, but I am willing to accept that things could be a little bit more normal. There's definitely something weird about this mansion. That dream, it was just a dream. We live in a time of age where nobody would want to hear of a dream. They'd be like, oh well, you dreamed of an assassination or something? Well, that's lovely, but we need evidence. We need evidence that can be touched. Once again, I think I'm investing way too much of myself in this case. But seriously, I know that I am so very close. Oh, by the way, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Let's Play Scratches, the Director's Cut edition. Oh, what is that I hear you say? I am just standing around in my room talking to myself to no end, nothing is happening? Well, then you probably clicked this episode by accident or just felt like checking a random one out. If that should be the case, either go to the very first or never come back. To all of you who are fans and followers of my Scratches Let's Play, welcome back. You know the procedure, you know the situation, you know how desperate it is, you know what I am like. Well, in all honesty though, I admit that just by standing around nothing will be accomplished. I need to check out the darn phones again. I need to give Jerry a call, or Barbara, or somebody. What time was it again? I think when I went upstairs to the attic to check out the newspapers, it was 2 p.m. I've forgotten the time. Who knows how long I've been in my room thinking about the entire situation. On this lovely, rainy Sunday, let's have a look. 4 p.m. Oh my. Discovering the mask, as well as thinking about the case, consumed 120 minutes of my life. Sheesh. I need to forget about it. If only it would be that simple. Who else is gonna solve it if I try to forget about it? Nobody. Alright, you're not downstairs to focus on the case. You are here to call Jerry or somebody. Let's pray to God that we will this time get a signal. Please, 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 please. Yes, it's alive. It's alive. First person I wanted to call, Barbara. That letter, it's very important to the situation. Come on. What the, it wouldn't have been very polite to bother Barbara on a Sunday. Really? I don't know, to be honest, what I should laugh at more. The fact that Michael thinks it's more important to be polite than solving a freaking murder, or the fact that I am actually trying to bother somebody on a Sunday because I am chasing a case from 15 years ago. Hello, is that the FBI or CIA? Yeah, I think I found something out about the JFK assassination. You might be interested. Yes, I'm just a random civilian, but it's a true story. Hello? Hello? Yeah, that's what would happen. Well, at least there's still our best friend Jerry Carter. He might be interested in our story, even though for some reason I highly doubt that. What the hell are you doing, Michael? Chasing ghosts around? Shouldn't you be writing on your book? Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Oh well, here goes.
Yes?
Jerry, it's me. You won't believe what I've found here.
Try me.
It's about the happenings that led to the murder you told me about. There's an impressive backstory surrounding this place and many loose ends. It would seem nobody ever stumbled upon this.
Shouldn't you be working on your book?
Are you listening to me? James Blackwood was into some very weird stuff, and possibly dangerous. Something tells me this case is much more complex than it was thought to be.
Why don't you inform the authorities? I'm sure they'll be dying to reopen a long-forgotten case about some crazy old psycho killing his wife.
No way. And miss all the fun? I'm doing this on my own. I wonder if those noises I heard have anything to do with this. Maybe James Blackwood was trying to hide something.
Like in that book, where an old man was guarding the entrance to hell. I bet this James Blackwood person had a doorway like that in his basement. Those dreadful noises must be the sounds of the damned coming for you.
Why, thanks, mate. That's been very helpful. Great to have friends like you.
Then stop talking about all this nonsense. Do you have any idea how crazy it sounds? You're a writer, not some fancy PI.
I'll get to the bottom of this. I know I will. I'm certain there's much more to James Blackwood than a simple act of murder.
Now you're sounding more morbid than usual. Simple act of murder? Oh, goody. Just somebody died, nothing to worry about. This isn't like you, Michael. This whole thing is really affecting you.
Stop being a drama queen. I'm a grown-up and I'm pretty aware of what I'm doing.
Fine, go chase around the ghosts of James Blackwood. I'll stay here in the real world.
I'll let you know about my progress.
Well, well, well. That conversation certainly turned out the way I expected it to turn out. Looks like I'm on my own again. The typical situation, really. He doesn't believe me, and I'm pretty sure that no one else would believe me either. I have to solve this case all by myself. Could James T. Blackwood have been hiding something else? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, how much more could there possibly be? We've turned this entire mansion upside down. How many freaking secret rooms could I have missed? It's getting ridiculous. Still though, nobody wants to hear of it, not even our best friend Jerry. Well, alright, he's the only one we told about this situation, but seriously, what am I to do? How am I going to get behind what happened here in Blackwood Manor? Is it just a red herring? Or could there be even more to this story? Maybe Michael has something new in his journal that could give us some more insight. As it turns out, there really was a door behind the exhibitor in the gallery. I probably subconsciously noticed the frame yesterday and then dreamt about it. I can't think of any other reasonable explanation. That worries me even more. I mean, dreaming of a hidden door just because you saw the frame poking out, Michael? I don't think that makes a lot of sense. The hidden door in the gallery led to a small storeroom. There was a strange mask inside and more mementos belonging to James Blackwood. The development of his story is really getting into me now. I can almost feel his suffering, and that mask seems to be the key to the mystery. Bloody Christ! What the frick am I missing? Where is the final piece of the puzzle? I thought I had it, but as it turns out, I was wrong. We are so very close. I can feel it. But I checked every place in this mansion at least twice. I highly doubt that the answer will be inside the garage. That would be just ridiculous. And the drawers? There were a few locked drawers, but how much of a possibility is there that the missing piece could be in... It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. I am blind to the truth. God. What am I becoming? I am so obsessed. Maybe Jerry is right. Maybe this mansion is getting to me way too much. I am losing my grasp on reality. I am being consumed more and more by this case. I came to this mansion to write a freaking book, not to chase after the ghosts of the past. Soon, Jerry will take me home or something, and the mansion will most likely disappear from my mind forever. I should just try to ignore what I found out, forget about it. Otherwise, I'll be completely burned out. Alright, I have to Michael Arthate, you have to focus. You have to become the man you were when you first arrived at Blackwood Manor. It cannot be that difficult. Listen to the calm raindrops. Inspiration, concentration. You are a writer, not a ghostbuster. Take what you found out, what you read about. It's tragic, yes, but we should just try to ignore the suffering for at least the time we will use to continue our novel. Here we go. Phew. There we go. The first real result that I want to achieve by coming to this place. Certainly brings the power and energy back into your fingertips, or exhausts them to no end even more. Well, I think that took a pretty long time. It's not much, just one sheet of paper, but it's a start. That's what I always say. Maybe this can finally take my mind off of things. Let's see if there are any errors. Suddenly, she stopped and stood there, paralyzed, hesitant to give any credit to what her eyes were seeing, and completely unaware of the potentially dangerous situation. Surprisingly, there wasn't anything unusual or strange about the event. Little Kathy was hastily crossing the living room towards the huge oak door, her fancy black dress fluttering at every footstep. As the girl reached the doorknob, she turned to look back at Marianne and urged her with a whisper to hurry up. But Marianne wasn't seeing Kathy. Her memories haunted her back and displaced reality, giving room to the nightmarish vision she had spent months trying to forget ever since her first visit to the old house. In her dream, she saw the little girl, also wearing a black dress, emerging from a passageway hidden in the room. She'd never actually managed to glimpse where the passage was, only saw the girl running towards her small face in a horrible grimace. Marianne quickly realized it was a twisted version of the Kathy she would know later, as if her figure was then distorted by a veil of smoke. Her exact movements through the room, reaching for the knob, facing her back, those were too many coincidences to ignore. It wasn't a nightmare that she experienced that day, nor a ghost, something she refused to believe in, but was now willing to blindly embrace as the truth, given the shocking vividness of the vision. A ghost would come from the past. What she'd seen came from the... Her thoughts were interrupted, as a figure behind her cast a shadow across the doorstep. "You filthy liar, you have betrayed me," groaned a deep voice. It sounds alright, I guess. Nothing outstandingly special, but a first step towards my goal. But just why? Why do I feel like I am simply writing down in a different version what I've experienced inside this mansion? I can't get it out of my thoughts. I knew it. It is impossible. Rest. I need rest from everything.